The Asian screens are all mixed. Actually, we're not starting with very positive cues. SGX Nifty at the moment indicating a 0.3% uptick. I mean, that's for the last 5 minutes. I missed it before I came into the studio. For me, it looks like there is always this border news just hanging over the market. Yesterday, the market was resilient. The mid-caps ended in the green by about 0.4%. But the market's resilience could be tested today. Whether day after day we can continue with that unless things are settled on the border. The more important thing is a little bit of impact on the economy is now beginning to show with several airlines cancelling or rescheduling flights because of the airspace being closed over Pakistan. That is also, it's marginal, but it begins to tell on business. And more importantly, crude is a little higher. It didn't worry us earlier, but now with the rupee also under a little bit of pressure, that could be an additional negative for the economy. So for me, the bulls don't have a tailwind, at least. Hi, both of you.
Good morning, Lata. Good morning, Anuj. Well, I think geopolitics is really what's dominating mind space for us, of course, here at home. And even internationally, and these are comments that have just come out from the reason why the SGX Nifty and some of the other Asian markets are also higher, because the US president, of course, he's been meeting the North Korean counterpart. And the statements are interesting. He says, speed is not that important to me with respect to, the end of nuclear testing. He says, I very much appreciate no testing of nuclear rockets, missiles, any of it. Very much appreciated. I'm in no rush. We just don't want the testing. And we've developed something very special with respect to that. So some of that commentary perhaps is being taken well by some of the markets, and that could explain the little bit of an excitement on the SGX Nifty. But having said that, I guess the other positive is that the FII number has been, at least, that's one silver lining, that's been consistently positive. And we've seen that over the course of the last couple of sessions as well. Yesterday's number was, of course, much lower. But nonetheless, look at that. You've got 5 blue bars there on the FII inflow picture. But having said that, Anuj, good morning. So, yesterday the market was on tenterhooks. There was a lot of information it was trying to digest. The bulls will say that it didn't break down. In the face of adversity, the bulls managed to hold on to the flat line. There was no major, it wasn't a 2-3% decline. Now, should that be read as inherent strength, this market wanting to take aim at the higher end of this range?
Morning, Surabhi. You know what? Let's look at how the Nifty has ended on the last day of every month over the last 4 months. Right now we are at 10,806. On the last day of January, we ended at 10,831. Last day of December, we ended at 10,862. Last day of November, we ended at 10,876. Give or take 20 points.
You're crawled higher.
10,850, thereabout. The market's been stuck at 10,850 for last 4 months. In between, it's gone to 11,100. It's gone to 10,550. But the equilibrium is somewhere around 10,850. And that's why, the closer you go to 11,000, risk-reward favors a short. The closer you go to 10,600, the risk-reward favors a long. And as is the case with the markets most of the times, trigger comes later. The risk-reward trade, if you take that is rewarded.
Works.
So what does this mean? What is this analysis going to mean? The Nifty today is likely to make a third consecutive monthly doji. Now, what is a doji? Where the opening and closing are at the same levels. Now, 3 back-to-back months of dojis, normally, you see the next month as some kind of expanding month. Yes. So, some kind of trending move is likely in March. And my sense is one camp is in for a brutal March. If I was a betting person...
Brutal? Oh, I mean, you can go either ways.
Yes. My money would be on the long side purely because of the way the mid-caps have bounced back over the last few days and the way the market's been oversold. And, at index level, we have started to see once again broadening of the markets, no longer a narrow market. That is a good news. But let's now discuss today, because that's important. So expiry day normally is about premium meeting in the first half. But the only problem is we are not in a normal market now. There's so much volatility happening. So the Nifty may oscillate between 10,750 to 10,850 in the first half. Let's see if we take out 10,850. The SGX Nifty is looking quite interesting. The Bank Nifty may offer a larger trade if there's short covering, because shorts have happened mostly in the Bank Nifty. On the Nifty, because of IT, there's been some kind of saving grace over there. So the Bank Nifty 200-day moving average is 26,650. If that is defended today, then perhaps you will see a bit of a short covering. As I said, the mid-cap action has been really heartening. Yesterday, the mid-cap index was in green. If the market was really worried about a big full-blown war, the mid-cap index would have been deep in the red, advanced decline would have been deep in the minus. That was not the case. In fact, it's the second consecutive week of mid-cap outperformance. That is healthy for the market. There's some kind of constructive action happening. Remember, we made this point 2 weeks back that the zone has come, the capitulation phase has happened, and now is a good time to look at mid-caps, small caps. I think that's playing out. The way stocks like Balkrishna Industries, for example, the way that's been rallying. You're seeing a lot of rally in
Motherson Sumi, for that matter, last 3 days.
Sumi, Ashok Leyland, Bharat Forge. You can see so many names doing well, even at index level stocks like, say, UPL. And in general, you feel good. The last 2 or 3 weeks have been good to portfolios after the kind of consistent damage that we saw in the month of January and February. So looks like constructive, perhaps. It's going to help right now.
It's really heartening, and I think from a bull's point of view, Anuj, that really want to latch on to everything you're saying. The only caveat and the only worry point, I guess, would be what's happening with domestic flows. And that's, of course, something that we will spend a lot of time talking about as well, because the way mutual fund inflows have been dwindling. Of course, the fact is that we've got some FII money, and thank heavens for that. But this fall in mutual fund inflows, and yesterday Nilesh Shah telling us that the numbers come down to a paltry 2,500 crores for the first 20 days of February. That is a worry point, because if liquidity is going to be sucked out in this market, then who comes in and where are the buying hands? But anyway, that's coming up a little later on the show. Let's get started. Here's what the wise experts have to say as we get set for trade this morning. Lawrence Belanco of CLSS says that in the short term, a number of global and regional markets have seen their daily momentum readings move into overbought territory. He says while these short-term extremes warn of a risk of 3 to 6% correction, the fact that the momentum indicators have confirmed the recent highs suggests further gains post a near-term pullback.
Okay, so he's also talking about gains. Let's get your money market views. Mohan Shenoy of Kotak Mahindra Bank says global currency markets await outcome of China-US trade talks. He adds fresh border tensions could keep the rupee slightly higher. He expects the USD-INR pair to trade in a range of 71.10, 71.50 for the day. The Reserve Bank is a very big player on days like this. So precisely at a time when there are tensions, you shouldn't expect the dollar-rupee to move too much.
Okay, so we do have the Reserve Bank waiting and watching. Let's move on to the bond street then. Mohan Shenoy says bonds also traded bearishly on account of border tensions. He expects the old 10-year benchmark bond yield to trade in a band of 7.65 to 7.7% for the day.
Well, there has been a very big announcement of a 1 lakh crore repo by the Reserve Bank of India. So that may be a mild positive, but considering that crude is higher, I don't know whether it will play out that way.
Fair enough. Let's do one thing. Let's talk about the global cues. Then here's Mangalam with the world view.
Well, second consecutive day of decline on the Wall Street. Dow Jones lost about 1/3% in yesterday's trading session as well. And there were a couple of reasons for that. The first one is the fresh uncertainty that has come in with regards to the US-China trade talks. We got in comments coming in from the US Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer, who said the trade deal is not yet certain and they'll take a little more than just purchases from China to reach an agreement. The other development was the US as well as North Korea Trump-Kim Jong-un summit, which is currently underway in Vietnam, before which Donald Trump tweeted that the first day of talks were fairly well. They will resume dialogues tomorrow, which is today. And ahead of the dialogues, there has been no full accounting of North Korea nuclear program. So this is something that the street will keep an eye out on. Some softening seen by the stance of the United States. Talking about softening, across the Atlantic, we saw the European market soften in yesterday's trading session. A near 0.5% shaved off all the three major indices. One particular stock which was in focus, Air France and KLM, that stock declined in yesterday's trading session on reports that the Dutch government is seeking higher stake in the company. Moving on to Asia, then most of the Asian markets, they started lower and now have recovered from the lows. So majority of these indices, the likes of Shanghai as well as Hang Seng, at the high point of the day. Why were they lower? Because the Chinese manufacturing PMI was below estimates, the lowest since Feb 2016. The SGX Nifty is important because the US crude stockpiles have plunged. Crude is now higher. Brent is above that $66 per barrel mark. Despite that, the SGX Nifty indicates a strong start in about 30 points in the green.
Okay, no, that's important. SGX Nifty starting about 30 points in the green, and that's in the past 10 minutes or so. As Surabhi is guessing, it's probably because you're getting some positive comments from President Trump on his meeting with the North Korean leader. But let's wait and see if this persists. This is a little bit of a leg up for the Indian bulls. But what's certainly not a leg up for anybody in the country is the tension that's continuing between India and Pakistan. At the border, Prime Minister Modi has met with NSA service chiefs, intelligence top boss. These guys have also briefed the Prime Minister on the Air Force Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman, who is now in Pakistan's custody. What does all this mean, and how can things pan out going forward? Nitin Gokhale, the national security analyst, joins us. Good morning, Nitin. Thank you very much for joining us on the show. Just about everyone in the country, every citizen, and of course market participants want to know how things can pan out from here on. Does this look now protracted with one of our boys in Pakistan custody?
Good morning. No, I don't think it looks protracted. It's very difficult to come to that conclusion just because one of our brave pilots is in Pakistan custody. When a military initiates or a nation initiates a conflict or takes an action like India did on Tuesday to hit the Jaish-e-Mohammed camp, these things are factored in. This kind of a temporary setback or somebody getting into the Pakistani territory or the enemy territory. This is all factored in. This will not inhibit any decision making as far as India is concerned because the pilot is in Pakistan Army custody and he has to be treated according to Geneva Conventions, although Pakistan's past record does not inspire that kind of confidence. But given the kind of glare and scrutiny that is there these days because of social media and otherwise, it's going to be difficult for Pakistan to repeat its heinous acts which they did in 1999 or even earlier. So I think he will be safe. That will not prevent any bold decision making if time comes.
Okay.
And as I see it, this is going to happen in the next 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
I'll list out yesterday, if you saw the Pakistani statement which talked about we have exercised restraint, but India has given a very tough message in its démarche to Pakistan, which says that we consider your planes coming into Indian territory as an act of aggression, and India reserves the right to retaliate. So that is an uncertainty in Pakistan's mind. Then Prime Minister Imran Khan of Pakistan actually was very reconciliatory in his statement. So as I see it, over the next 48 hours, is going to be very crucial, the next 48 hours, because the world will try and prevail upon both India and Pakistan to de-escalate. But India at the moment has the initiative. So India would like to keep the pressure up, because what India started with, that Pakistan must act against terrorist outfits and terrorist leaders and their proxies, hasn't happened really. So India will not be sort of unrelenting. India will be unrelenting in the pressure, and India will not relent so easily. So let us see what happens today and tomorrow, and then maybe we can come to some conclusion how this is going to pan out on the escalatory ladder really.
Okay. Is there a Geneva Convention rule that prisoners of war have to be returned in 7 days?
No, that is not correct. That's, I think, a lot of misinformation going around. It depends on various factors, what kind of pressure is put. Geneva Convention is clear about how to treat the prisoners of war and how they should not be used for propaganda, how they should not be mistreated or tortured. All that is there. So therefore, let's not come to a conclusion that he will be returned in 7 days, so that will bring down the temperatures. No, that is one very small factor. He is a very valued asset for Indian Air Force and the nation. So we will pray, and we will see, the entire nation will be praying for him, I'm sure, like the government is doing. But let's not get distracted by just his being in the custody. And therefore, this whole campaign some people have started, let's talk or let's de-escalate, is not determined by this factor, is what my sense is.
Oh, okay. So what should we expect? Are there going to be more exchanges on the border? Is that what markets and the citizens should be prepared for? or will conversations start? What is your best analysis or your best guess of how the next few days might progress? More on the table or on the battlefield?
No, not. It will be simultaneous, not on the battlefield really. This is not a prelude to an all-out war or even a limited war. But both sides have been cautious about what's the next steps to take. And I'll just give you a little breakup. Pakistanis have started mobilizing their personnel, some of their military platforms like tanks. They've moved some of the formations forward, not now, but immediately after Pulwama attack had taken place on 14 February. Leave for all employees in various hospitals and various essential services have been cancelled on the Pakistani side. On the Indian side, there has been a quiet preparation. There is enough sense that right now India does not need to mobilize its entire military or the army or the air force. But there is a lot of high alert in various sectors, and here the markets should sort of calm down a bit and look at what happens over the next 48 hours. Because, as I said, India has issued the Dimash. Now the ball is in Pakistan's court. Whether it wants to de-escalate and say that okay, we will not do any other aggression. Because India's sense is that by trying to carry out that act of aggression yesterday on Wednesday, Pakistan was actually conveying a very wrong message that they are batting for the terrorist outfit, Jaish-e-Mohammed. Because remember, India went and hit the camp of a terrorist outfit and very specifically mentioned that it was a non-military target. No civilians, no Pakistani military installation was targeted. So this has given Pakistan, actually Pakistan is in the back foot by doing this. But I guess they had to do this because they had to appease their domestic opinion, and therefore they have done this. So let's wait for the next 48 hours.
All right. Thank you very much, Nitin Gokhale, for joining us and giving us some kind of a framework in terms of what to expect. My own expectation was probably there will be more on the negotiating, more exchanges on the negotiating table than across the LOC. But as Nitin Gokhale says, possibly both simultaneously. We'll wait and see, and the market will have to remain ready for any possible border news.